Hey, look at, we got to get out here. Hey, boy. That's what happened. We haven't seen Gary for a month, so we had to have a little chat with him. And, well, welcome to Town Talk. And we're going to open right away with the fact that tomorrow we're going to have a nightmare in town.
Yes.
It's going to be a disaster.
So let me ask you a few questions.
We'll be swimming.
So let me ask you a few questions. Do you know one of the primary reasons that the town manager is here?
He's here.
I'll give you the answer.
All right.
Safety of the townspeople.
Oh, okay, one of his functions.
Function. Do you know that the Board of Selectmen's, one of their functions?
Yeah.
Safety of the townspeople.
Right.
Okay. Let's now go to the DPW. One of their functions is the safety of the townspeople. Okay. Now, would you consider the children of the town to be townspeople?
Right.
Okay. So all three of those groups are suffering from cranium rectimitis. In case you don't know what that means, they get the head up their ass.
Oh, okay.
That's the technical term.
Gotta remember that.
You have a school that the children, with the help of the crossing guard, have to climb over the mounds of snow because the morons who ran the sidewalk snowplow didn't do a damn thing. And then the snowplow retards, nitwits, who did the neighborhood, had no idea what the hell they were doing, and there's that much snow on the street. So now you got buses going on the street, parents in their cars, kids walking in the street because they can't walk on the sidewalk because they can't get to it. You people need to be fired. All of you.
Okay, now I have to play devil's advocate here with you.
You always kiss the DPW's ass.
No, I think they didn't do that great a job.
They
I'll
did
say
a
that.
crappy job.
But you look at our parking lot,
Yeah, that's what my street looks like.
and that's not because our snowplow guy didn't do a good job. He came down here and plowed the snow, but we had that damn crap that came in the form of sleet, freezing rain, and you name it, we got it.
So let me ask you this question.
I couldn't clean my yard. I snowblowed my yard, but it doesn't look like I did.
So let me ask you this question. When was the storm?
Well, it started, Sunday morning
Okay.
or Saturday night?
So now
Saturday
it's
night.
now what? Wednesday.
Right.
Nothing's been done. Not another plow has gone down that street. Not another sidewalk plow has
Well,
gone down
that's
that
the
street.
problem I
And
got,
nobody's
too.
fixed
That's
the
the
schoolyard.
problem.
That's ridiculous.
What they needed to do was get a lot of salt on the street, let it work, and then plow it.
The snowplow driver in my neighborhood, okay?
Yep.
Right in my corner, I have a corner. I
Right.
do the whole corner with a 32-inch snowblower. Clears the whole thing. Then I come back, and there's an area where there's a handicap ramp for the schoolyard, okay? And I do that. So I was doing that, and the snowplow driver, and I stopped him. And I said to him, hey, just so you know, there is a handicap crosswalk right here. Please don't pile snow there. He goes, oh, I don't. What's this? Well, I don't usually. Okay, but you did. So move it. It's really not rocket science. Push it down the block. There's a big area down there you can put it. They did such a crappy job that you can't even drive on the street. You don't have four-wheel drive in that neighborhood, Crescent Street, Balmer School areas, you're not getting through. It's ridiculous. You should all be fired. And whoever teaches these people about the streets in this town should be fired because you're not doing your job. Ride them through, explain to them the situations in the different neighborhoods, and make sure they know what the hell they're doing because you stink at your job. I'm done.
Why are we gonna drown tomorrow, you're saying?
Well,
You're gonna get a lot of
all the
water.
storm drains are covered with snow and ice.
Yeah.
It starts to rain, where's the water gonna go? Can't go down the storm drain.
I shovel mine out every time. I do the sidewalk, I do the fire hydrant, and I always make sure that storm drain is done.
But you know, with that sleet that came on
yeah.
top, you can't move it.
No,
I tried moving it today, you can't move
no,
it.
you gotta chop it. It's the only way you get through it is chop
Yeah.
it.
And they should have been out the
I
last
don't
2
have a
days
lot
doing
of
something.
snow Venezuela.
Venezuela?
Little oil, not a lot of snow.
Up in the mountains, a little bit.
Do they?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Oh,
up in
okay.
the mountains.
Some high mountains. But
Yeah.
could it possibly have been a timing thing? Because I noticed there was snow. I went out and I shoveled. I took the snowblower. And then this rain stuff,
Yeah, we had that
freezing stuff
sleet.
came. There was a sheet of ice like that on my
Oh, yeah.
driveway. After
Oh, yeah.
Actually, it was sleet.
could it be, yeah.
Freezing rain comes down as water. When it hits the ground or it hits the wires, whatever, it freezes,
We were very lucky.
turns into ice.
Yeah.
Sleet comes down as big ice balls, and it piles up like
So
snow.
maybe they should have put more salt on it, maybe at the beginning, you think? Or
The point is, they haven't been around for 2 days.
oh, okay.
I know
That's
it's
a-
Martin Luther King Day.
You're right.
I don't give a damn.
Okay, that's what.
The safety of the people is paramount. Spend the money. You haven't done a damn thing all year. The snow budget cannot be depleted. You can go over the budget, but it can be depleted. You can run over. It just comes off the cherry sheet on the next year.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
You know it's depleted after the first storm for what they put
Well,
in
yeah,
it.
because that's the way the finance committee has done it for years.
Right. But
They-
the thing is, though, it is a mess. But it's not just here. It's all over.
I travel all over. I was in Rhode Island. I was in Eastern Massachusetts. I was all over the area. None of the streets are as bad as they are here.
Been to Worcester?
Yeah,
That's pretty bad.
there's a couple of sections that are a little tough, but they're not as bad as here because they have equipment. They don't hire some banana head that comes with his pickup truck and his dog.
Some of those guys might get mad at you.
Huh?
Some of those guys might get mad at you.
I really don't care.
He doesn't care.
I don't care. I'm sick and tired of people not doing their job. Do your damn job. That's why I hate meteorologists. They're wrong all the time. They get paid a lot of money and they never get fired.
I have a hard time giving a hard time to those guys because there was in my street. I never had a snowblower. I just got one a couple of years ago. But before there used to be a guy with a plow that used to come and I asked him, hey, you want to just go down my driveway and just push it down? And I give him a couple of beers or something for payment or whatever, and they would help me out a little bit like that. So, I mean, some of them are nice guys. maybe there's some not so nice, but
They know where he lives.
In the last 2 years, our street has been a one-lane road
yeah.
because they never push it back because they're all afraid to bump into the storm drains. Hey, that's what you get paid for. It's a truck.
Yeah.
I would never plow with my truck because I love my truck and it destroys your front end. But you're
Yeah.
already plowing, so you're already doing it. So you may as well do a good job. Or find somebody who wants to do it.
But it is tough. I mean, the parking lot out here is in tough shape.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that stuff fell and he couldn't push it.
Right.
Of course, we also had the donut man came in and started doing his donuts.
Donut man.
Yeah, he comes in and he spins around the parking
Oh,
lot.
there's a guy just doing like tricks out there or
Being
something?
silly.
Yeah, they call it making donuts. They spin the truck around,
Okay.
and when he does that, it puts all ruts everywhere. But then it froze,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
we had deep freeze. It got pretty damn
Oh,
cold.
it was cold.
So you couldn't move it once it was solid.
You could move it today.
Now I'm hoping he comes back tomorrow. Not really. It didn't warm up today until late in the afternoon. I hope he comes back tomorrow and when it's really warm and pushes it out of the way.
Let's go back to the size of the trucks you have parked in that garage. You've got big trucks.
Yeah.
You have a school. Take care. I don't give a rat's ass about my street. I care about the kids going to school. It was a nightmare for the you couldn't pass school bus and car because there's so much friggin' snow piled up on the sides because they never pushed it back.
Yeah, it is tight. It is tight. I mean, I'm on Benson Road. It's tight. We got a car coming the other way.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
tight. I mean, that's why I buy four-wheel drive vehicles.
No, me too. All mine are.
So you can get out of the house.
Uh-huh.
I drive through Framingham every day, and this one thing I did notice. This wasn't such a big storm, but there was a lot of snow out there on the sides. I did notice that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that big a storm.
Nope.
No, but what really made it heavy was that sleet.
Yep.
And that piled up just like snow does. but it piles up as solid ice.
Then it was cold. It was
I mean,
pretty
I'm
cold.
walking on top of the snow cover.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you weren't breaking through.
No,
Yeah.
The dogs were going out, going sliding all over
Yeah.
the place.
yeah, you can walk across the snow cover. That's how heavy it is, how crusted it is. So I mean that's tough to plow. It's tough to move.
Not when you do it right the first time.
Well, you better be prepared tomorrow.
There was that much snow left on the ground, in the street, when they went home.
Right.
They were just going on top, pushing a little bit, and getting their money. They would drive, half the time they drive around with their plows up. They're just getting their hours in. It's the problem that you don't have anybody checking. Nobody's watching them. Nobody's checking them. Nobody goes through the streets with them and tells them what's going on in what streets. Nobody tells them where there's a school area where the kids got to walk to school. You have to live a certain distance, 2 miles? 2 miles now.
I think it's 2 miles.
2 miles from the school to get busing. So, okay, so if you're
And
a
then you
mile
gotta
and a
pay
half.
for it.
Right, if you're a mile and a half or something, your mom and dad take you to school, fine. But what about the kids that got to walk? When you're at the corner of Crescent and North Main, and the school guard has to help the kids over the snowbanks, there's something wrong. And the school department should be screaming holy hell about this, because that's dangerous. First off, the school crossing guards can't do her job. And one of those kids falls, you're liable. Just stupid. Just lazy.
Well, talking about the school, you know about have you heard any more about the new school?
I only went to the meeting last Wednesday.
And that was it.
That's it.
Well, there is a situation, they don't have enough parking. Well, you know, parking is delegated by the size of the building.
Right.
Ooh.
Square footage.
By square footage.
Uh-huh.
And they don't have enough parking to meet so we're gonna take that up at the planning board.
Good boy.
Well, you know, you can waive it.
Hey, don't you dare wave it. They'll be parking down the street. They'll be parking in the...
No, they got sufficient amount for daily use. Where it comes into question is if you have something going on at the school and you got always the parents and grandparents and, you know, uncles and aunts and whatever coming in for some kind of a activity.
You should see my street on field day.
Right, that's what I mean.
All the way up the street.
Right,
They
yeah.
park, and then they walk.
And that's what we got to address.
And you don't have enough. And with that Crescent Street, with the dumbass bump outs, because that was dumb. You don't have any parking.
Right.
You can't park on that street. You just can't. There's not enough room to go by. I mean, you do have that lot by the Armory,
Yeah.
but they fill that up. That only takes a minute. I mean, now figure it out. That's today. You're going to put 3 times the amount of kids and their parents in that school.
Right.
Just crazy.
Yeah, so that, you know, that something's got to be addressed some way or somehow and figure out something.
Oh, the engineers are geniuses. They got it all figured out. Cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste. So tell me, did you get appointed?
No, I think next week.
Oh, that's right. This was a holiday.
Yeah,
I forgot they don't have a selectmen's meeting on a holiday.
that's right. You didn't go. You didn't show up on Martin Luther King Day
Yeah, I did.
for when you were a selectman.
Oh, no. I thought you meant work. I was like, I worked. I had meetings all day.
Yeah, I know.
So all I do is have meetings all day now. That's changing.
I used to go through that. I said, why we have you know, you're not getting anything accomplished with meetings. So yeah, but I had a boss who used to love meetings. Oh my
yeah.
God.
Oh, yeah. I had another one today, all afternoon. These people are driving me to drink. I don't need any help.
Does that work?
No, you got to be out in the field. You
Can't
gotta
make money.
to get something accomplished. You can't do it at meetings.
I had a history teacher in high school. I'll never forget it as long as I live. Had a tie clasp. It said YCDBDA. YCDBA. You know what it stands for?
No.
You can't do business sitting on your ass. I always loved that. I always did. He wouldn't tell anybody till the end of the year what that meant. Always remember that.
It's true. We got a phone call.
Yeah, yes.
Probably Barry.
Figured my rant would get
Some of the
somebody going.
plowman.
Go ahead, Carl, you're on.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, hey,
Hello, Aby.
Harry, you're going to have to try to get Russ to come out of his shell, you know? He's kind of shy.
So,
I've been on his side, and then I've been on the opposite side, and he fights hard no matter what.
yep.
Believes in something, then, you know, he'll go for it. He won't back down, and I'll give you credit for that. Now, what I'd like to do is go to the school superintendent. Is it true that she has resigned?
Yes, effective in June, the end of the
Okay.
school year.
So, in other words, she is finishing the year.
Yes,
Okay?
but she has a good reason. Her husband's down in South Carolina. His job has taken him out of the state,
Ah,
and she's going to finish off the year for the. She's not just leaving abruptly on the school department. She's going to finish out her term, but she wants to join him. Obviously, I mean that makes sense to me. He got a promotion, I guess, so he had to take it.
yeah.
Hey.
Russ, do you think if Thomas Jefferson is in the pool again for the third time, we'll pass him by again and
You
take
know,
three strikes and you're out?
Abe, I got to tell you, the guy was impressive, and I can tell you right now, if he was here, the school system would not be in the shambles it's in.
Absolutely.
Because our rating has gone down so far that people are looking to take their kids out of schools and put them out of schools.
Yeah. And how about morale? And I'm not just talking about the buildings or the conditions of the buildings. I'm talking about the morale all over.
Yeah.
And that comes from the top.
The fish stinks from the head, my friend.
You got it. So now let me move one step back. There was a gentleman who apparently had some problem with a student. I think the name was Royster, if I've got it correctly. And I guess his wife took to the
Facebook.
internet or whatever you want to call it. And
Okay.
she got on there and started saying this, and then supposedly shortly thereafter, gentleman was fired.
Well, I don't want to get into too many details because there could be lawsuits here, but there's things.
Well, we do have confidentiality, but I mean, there's got to be some part of the story that the public can get. I've been asked, and I said, I don't have a damn clue. I don't have a damn clue.
Well, yes, because for reasons of confidentiality, the other side can't comment, and she probably should have been a little more silent on it, but that's beside the point. But you've got to be very careful because you're talking a minor person, and you got hyper situations here because it's an illness involved, and you got to be very careful. That's why I don't like to get into it,
Yeah.
and I can't comment on either side because I don't know both stories.
I know nothing about it. I can tell you this, though. It's a sad world today because all the kid has to do is be angry with the teacher and go on that internet and start bashing, and everybody starts investigating. And you can get your life ruined in a heartbeat with some of these kids.
You remember a year or so ago when a couple other people were let go down there, and I know exactly the guy you and I are thinking about.
Yep.
And, like you said, she's letting them go, maybe not willy-nilly, but she's just letting people go. And I think you at that point basically said she's going to get herself in a hell of a lot of hot water.
Hey, I remember when somebody fired a a town manager, and it cost us $280,000.
Yep.
That was a brilliant move.
Well,
But here, unless I know both sides, I can't
I
say
don't
that
know
there
nothing
could be
about that.
good reason for letting people go too.
This is the first I've heard of it. I've not heard anything
you
about
you look into the story, Russ. I think
Okay.
the gentleman's name is Royster,
it. Okay.
and
Well, the story was on, it was on that Turtle Boy page, which he is also just giving you one side. He's not a reporter. He just goes out and finds any scandal he can find, and he just reports on it. And he doesn't. And here again, this is what's happening with media today. And you see that. Look what happened with those kids down in Washington. It got reported one way, and then when people saw the whole tape, they found it was a whole different
Harry,
situation.
I'm with you all the way, but what I'm saying is, from what she wrote, that there was an incident, and then his wife was apparently upset, and just maybe she shouldn't have gone there, but she did, and she got it out there to the world, if you want to call it. And then I am told, factually or unfactually, shortly thereafter, he was let go.
Right, and like I said, there's more involved, and I can't get into it, but there is more involved than you know. And, it'll come out in the wash because there's going to be lawsuits and there's going to be,
Oh, I'm sure.
and this will come out.
I'm sure that the union is not going to let this go by if there's not
Well,
enough facts.
he didn't have that much time in yet, so he was not under tenure.
Yeah.
He only had a few months.
Still paid his union dues. The moment you walk into school, it comes out of your paycheck. You're covered by the union. They're supposed to stand up for you.
Right.
Into
Do
that.
not start me on unions.
Huh. Or me either.
Don't get that started.
Or me either. So anyway, I wanted to call in and just chime in on a couple of things.
Cool. Good to hear from you.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
How's everything
warm
on?
and gonna warm up tomorrow, I guess. So
Well, how's Lake Street? Can you get down there with your car?
yes, Lake Street's pretty good.
Oh.
But I was up Benton Road today, and that's I mean I don't have the greatest front tires or greatest tires, and I was doing a little wiggle in there.
Well, I know a guy that's not too happy with Mason Road,
I don't care about Mason Road. It's Crescent,
Crescent,
where the school is. It's ridiculous.
You know,
and that's at the end
I
of
got four-wheel
Lake.
drive. I'll get through anything.
You know, I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong, Russ, but if the kids cannot walk to school and walk on the sidewalks, school should be called off.
Well, supposedly that's what they do.
Go look at it. It's ridiculous. You couldn't find a crosswalk to walk in if your life depended on it.
Yeah.
Because they're all frozen over. And by law, you're supposed to be able to see those markings so those kids can cross the street.
Yeah.
Because where you used to cross at the end of the lake, right across, and then go, you can't do it anymore. You got to go this way and then across it to school where the driveway is, which was a bad engineering idea in the beginning because you got kids crossing where the cars come in and out, which is
Well,
dumb.
that is public safety 101.
Yep.
No question about that.
Yep.
So,
Cool.
all right, guys, I'll let you go. Have a
Good
good
to hear
night.
from you.
Okay.
Take care.
Now, I don't really want to get off of town talk, but I got to talk to Miguel about this. Some changes coming in your country, huh? Your country of origin.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, you didn't hear?
I heard a couple of things.
The people are rising up.
Well, they've been trying to do that for a while now, but you heard something that they're being more successful?
Well,
or
the Trump
something?
administration now is saying they will no longer recognize the current government.
Oh,
Was
is that
it
right?
Madero's?
That I didn't know. Maduro.
Yeah, Madero.
Really?
And that's another guy, young man, who has come up forward and he wants to take over.
Yeah.
And the people are rising up. They want him.
I heard something about the National Assembly kind of
Yeah.
disavowing his,
Yeah.
because he won again. And he's always going to win, apparently, because
Well,
they rigged the system.
he wins. He
so-
got the election rigged.
Yeah. So, yeah, I heard about that.
How do you
part.
rig an election?
I don't know how it's done, but I've seen it being done.
It gets done a lot.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm the recipient once.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was a woman in this town that went to all of the nursing homes and had people do their ballots
Really?
ahead of time.
Absentee
Showed
ballots.
them where to vote, how to vote. Yeah, yeah.
I do remember one election where you had some relatives that didn't
Oh.
go down and vote, and you only lost by a few votes.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
God bless
His
my
family
friend.
didn't go out and vote. He only lost by like 3 votes.
Extended family.
Extended family, yeah.
You lost because
His
a couple
in-laws.
people didn't show
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Do you demand a recount or?
No.
No.
And we're talking only a few votes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are times when your vote does count a lot.
Absolutely does.
Yeah.
Every vote counts, and that's what I used to say to people all the time. When I was a selectman, if I answer, and you get called all the time, and that's fine. That's your gig.
Yeah.
And I would ask a couple of questions. Are you a registered voter? Well, first off, who are you? Okay, because you got to tell me your name, and are you a registered voter? And if they didn't answer those 2 questions, click. You don't exist. If you're not willing to stand up for yourself and tell me who you are, and then register to vote and vote, I'm not interested. Because apparently you don't care enough to do that. And a friend of mine always says, if you don't vote, don't bitch.
Absolutely.
That
If you
makes
didn't, if
sense.
you didn't vote in the election, don't complain about the results. Because, you know, you had a chance.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. In town election, the turnout gets lower and lower.
Oh, yeah.
But we have no contest.
Right, that's the problem. Anything going on, by the way? Anything come up?
No, as far as who's running?
Yeah.
I haven't heard a thing.
Huh.
But, you know, they got until the end of March to put your papers in. But, no, I mean, the town clerk won't send out notices until February to
Right.
to the incumbents if they need to run for reelection. See, I'm up this year. I don't know what I want to do.
For what?
Planning board.
What the hell else are you going to do?
Well, I got this place.
Oh, stop it.
I didn't plan on that the last time.
I know. I'll tell you what, you know what I was really shocked
You
about?
and
You got a phone
52
call?
other people.
You got
Go ahead, Carl. You're on. Yeah, here we go. Go ahead.
Good evening, guys.
Hi,
Hello
Barry.
there.
Hey, Rusty, I just got to talk some things about the DPW. I think the first problem was in the early 1980s, the town took a hatchet to the DPW. They eliminated about 10 or 11 positions in the early 1980s.
oh, yeah.
Harry?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was when Prop 2.5 passed. All the towns were hurting.
Right,
Northbridge exceptionally.
right.
But you know why that happened? And I'll say it again. A member of the finance committee said the easy days were when you could sit down and you wrote the budget and then you raised the taxes to meet it.
Yep.
So no matter how much money you needed was no problem because you just raised the taxes to raise that much money. Under Prop 2.5, they couldn't do that anymore.
Right, but those people being laid off in the early 1980s, some of those people, there should have been something addressed because we were told that services wouldn't be impacted, and that's a joke. You can't lay off 11 people and services not being impacted, and so I mean that's something that has to be looked at again to try to re-strengthen the DPW. Plus, the DPW's budget's been level funded almost at $1 million for the last 15 years.
All the budgets are level
And
funded.
that's crazy. And Russ, we don't know what 7 Main Street, what type of message 7 Main Street is sending down to the DPW there on Fletcher Street. So you know that's another issue. So, but I think if you remember, Harry, when they eliminated the road commissioners, that road commissioners' duties were handed to the Board of Selectmen.
Yep.
And maybe the Board of Selectmen needs to call a meeting agree. If the sidewalks were not safe, then somebody should have made a command decision to either cancel school. And I agree with Rusty on that.
Put the guy's butt in the machine that morning and get out there. We not only have a snow plow, we have a sidewalk snow blower.
Mm-hmm.
They should have been out that morning at 6 o'clock before those kids went to school and snow blowed that area. It should have been safe for everybody to walk.
But again, like I said, we don't know the circumstances. Are they down to less than a skeleton crew, or did someone call and
Well-
is somebody telling the DPW director not to spend money? So I mean, maybe it's time for the Board of Selectmen to have an inquest and find out exactly what the heck's going on. They're the road commissioners now.
Yeah, they are.
Right, well, the thing is that they had an advantage with Monday. There was no school Monday.
Right.
But, of course, it was a holiday, and they didn't want to pay double time. So if you would have
Right.
absorbed that and paid the
Because
double
we can't
time, you could have had the
increase
crew come in.
level-funded budget for 15 years over $1 million.
Yeah, but the snow budget isn't level.
There's nothing to do with that budget. Doesn't have anything to do with
Somebody
anything.
from 7 Main Street telling them that not to spend money.
By the way, I had that argument. How can that be 7 Main Street when the shop is 1 Main Street?
I know.
Actually, the front door is on Douglas Road.
Right, I know, but that's their official address.
I know,
point-
it's meant to make any sense.
And the point of fact of what you're saying is the truth. Is you cannot decimate a department and expect it to run sensibly. You
Right.
paid
Well, level funded for 15
right.
years.
Well, not only that, but you pay an exorbitant amount of money to have a DPW superintendent who isn't come from the town, doesn't show up for. Look, the guy's a nice guy. I get it, but he doesn't show up for storms because he lives 40 miles away. Okay, so then
Well,
you got.
it's not quite 40 miles, but it's probably close.
You want to ride it? You want to try it?
Yeah, I know. I've been there. I've been up that way. I don't know if it's.
Not
far.
only that, you got another. You got the foreman, or what's he called? Assistant superintendent.
No, he's called the highway superintendent.
Highway superintendent, right? Okay. So we're paying an exorbitant amount of money for an engineer to be this figurehead to ride around all day and basically, as far as I'm concerned, do nothing. He hasn't written a grant. He hasn't gotten anything done of any special that Dickie Brooks couldn't do by himself. And you got 3 guys. 3 guys.
I know.
What are you gonna do with them? So we got to stop. You're fooling yourself because we're not maintaining anything. We're not maintaining the roads. And if they put another one of those signs up this year, I will punch somebody. I have another project done by the board of the DPW. No, we put a contract out. Come on, stop it. But you got to
Well,
stop.
you have to hire him and supervise it.
Well,
Stop.
There has to be an effort to look that you gotta, they need more funding, they need more people, either, relative to the FEMA and MEMA situation after 9/11, you have to have a DPW. So if you're gonna have a DPW, then it should be adequately funded, and it should be, the need should be there, because if you, like you were saying, you have to have people. If you have our own people out there plowing, they have an investment in the town. If you have sometimes the contractors, like I say, they're coming in and they're just doing what their contract calls for.
Okay.
When you have your own DPW employees, you've got more control and the ability. They have that allegiance to the town.
Not only that, let me give you a little bit of background to how, like state, when the state has contract plowers, they have a gentleman that rides around called the snow rep. He's the one that's out early. And we used to call it stargazing. He's out early. He makes the decision when to send a pre-spread out. He makes the decision when to plow. And he constantly goes over the areas to make sure they're plowed correctly. Because they have to go curb to curb, or you don't get your drainage. Nobody's doing that in this town. Not once did a snow rep, a DPW superintendent, a DPW head go down the street. Because they would have said, hey, go back and redo that, because it looks like hell. Hey, go back and take care of the front of the school. And why in the hell did the people from the maintenance from the school not say something? Because they got to have a snow blower. They got to do the front area of the snow. It's just ridiculous. When you go by and there's kids in the streets and people are trying to get to work and it's a dangerous environment, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, we don't know if what you know, did the school department check with the other town departments, and did the other town departments say
Couldn't tell you.
it was okay to go forward with schools? So I mean, that, you know, that's why you know, the board of selectmen have now, they assumed the road commissioner's duties. Maybe they need to have a little investigation and find out what's going on, and you know, and if there is some issues, you know, that's what government's all about. Let's get it worked out. And
You know when they'll do that?
Like you're saying, I mean, there's no way that you know, them eliminating 11 positions in the early 1980s, you can have the same level of services. And if they tell you we are, I mean, what do they think? We're fools? So I mean, it's because I know there's culverts in my area that haven't been cleaned since the 1980s when those guys got all laid off. So it's definitely an issue, and I think there has to be some firm decisions made. And
Do you want to know when they'll do that?
I don't know if they will.
Oh, you know when they will? When somebody gets hurt or killed.
Well, I know that's the shame.
That's because they
Or-
always wait, and they'll have a knee-jerk reaction to it, and they won't do anything until something gets done. Somebody gets hurt. And
But
now
there's another blizzard in like 1978.
we're screwed.
And the town is snowed in.
We're screwed.
Well, there was nothing you could do back then. It was just too much.
Oh, I know, but at least at least they had the people back there, and if you remember those big trucks, Harry, with the big snow blowers on it.
Right.
A lot of the DPW people, they said that's what kept the town open, and we don't even
Well,
have them
to an
anymore.
extent, they came down to try to clean the National Guard yard so we could get in for the guy. I was called out,
Right.
and it broke down.
One of the sick cards?
Yeah.
But I know, but at least they had the people back then, you know?
Yeah.
But Monday night, there's a selectmen's meeting. Maybe, I'm sure that's going to come up.
Well, like I said, I mean, the buck stops with the town manager, and the policymakers are the board of selectmen, and maybe they need to, you know, start asking some questions, and you know, and like I said, keep our fingers crossed that it doesn't take a hazardous situation like Rusty said, or another blizzard of '78 to say, well, hey, we need some more people, or we need to fund the DPW better.
Well, let's hope we don't get another blizzard at 78. That
No,
was pretty.
that's one for the memory banks.
And,
Right.
and not only that, not only just winter, there's so much more that needs to be done with manpower in this town to repair things,
Oh yeah.
to cut, well, in the summertime you get summer hire to cut the fields. That's all you got. That's the only way you get any extra help. But if you don't have the people to do all of the other, I mean, there was an emergency situation on Crescent Street where a whole manhole collapsed. Okay? That's the only reason that they got forced into doing that. Not that they should have fixed it anyway. There was nothing wrong with it until it collapsed. But now whatever else they were going to do that week or those 2 or 3 days was gone. They had to deal with that. So all we're doing is reacting. We're not doing anything preventative. And that's the sin.
We're doing the high buff because of the manpower.
Right. Then that's the sin, because you cannot continue to decimate a department that is so deeply responsible for the safety of what goes on in the town and continue to just destroy their budget.
Plus the other thing, they've taken on additional duties without the additional manpower.
Oh, hell yeah.
They now have the Pine Grove Cemetery. They were supposed to get some extra personnel when they took that over. They never did. And Harry, in 1978, what did they have, like 66 miles of roadway? Now they're up to almost close to 100 miles.
Well, yeah, because the subdivisions.
And they have a skeleton crew now.
Oh, yeah, and there'll be more subdivisions coming online in not too distant future.
That's that damn planning board.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
let's see what the road commissioners / board of selectmen do, and that's all we can do is hopefully they address this situation.
Right. Well, they'll have to take a, but you know, if you put more personnel on, you gotta raise the money to do it. And
You're gonna have all these, you got, a lot of these new cannabis facilities coming into town. You got the solar projects, and
there is gonna be more money coming in, but
it's like you said in the past, Harry. If you do some thinking outside the box and do some innovative thinking, there's been a couple of board of selectmen that have asked the town manager a couple of times to put a survey on the town website if people have ideas how the town could raise or generate a revenue money, but I don't know why they don't want to do that.
well, we have a tax increase coming with the
School.
With the school,
right, but we also have a tax increase coming with the CPA.
right?
And in fact, I'm hoping to get appointed to that committee on Monday.
Right.
That's
Well,
1% though,
congratulations
right?
on that.
Yeah, but 1% adds up.
Right.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's what
Yeah.
300 to 400,000 a year,
Yeah,
and that money can be spent on what?
it gets spent on maintenance of buildings.
Right. And
Yeah.
I mean, if you can go borrow a little bit of that, they'll free up.
Well, you don't borrow, you
Additional
actually
revenue.
expend the money.
Right.
And the state matches, I think they're down to 40%. We used to be 100%, they're down to, I think, 40% now.
Right.
So, I mean, but there's some money right there. But don't keep in mind, Barry, no matter how much money comes in, they're still short on what the school wants every year. So you know where that money's gonna go.
Oh, I know it's hard, but
They find it every year.
maybe if they could get a couple of extra positions for the DPW, and maybe a little, like I say, I'm not expecting miracles, but you got to do something. I mean,
Right.
If you got a skeleton crew, I mean, you people are paying taxes, and you like you're saying, I mean, you can't have the roads like as Rusty's talking about.
Right.
I mean, when we're not expecting champagne, but meet us even just a quarter of the way.
It's great to hear from you.
Right.
But hey, I'll let somebody else call in, and you guys stay safe and stay well, and congratulations on your appointment, Harry.
Well, I haven't got it yet. I mean, the
Okay,
select,
well, I mean, soon to be coming.
the selectmen have to vote on it Monday.
Okay, well, unless there's something crazy, I don't see how you can't get appointed.
Well, there were two, you got one member from the planning board on that board, and Rayner took it. He's the newest member on the board now.
Mhm.
So I said I was interested. So we decided that Rayner would get it because he really wanted it. And I said, well, I'll just tell the selectmen that I'm willing to take the
At large.
at-large position.
Oh, that's good.
So if I get it, I get it. If I don't get it, I won't miss the paycheck,
Yeah, you have.
right?
Yeah. I think wasn't it a few years ago the planning board sponsored an article like every new subdivision they're supposed to give some money to the Parks and Rec. I forget. I was just wondering if that ever happened or if that's true. That
No,
that's like
there
everyone
is
in
some
the
money. We do have a
they
budget
give
for.
10,000 to Parks and Rec.
No, not every time, but there's requirements for open space, and sometimes they give an allowance for other things. There's some money. There is some money in a budget, but it has to be delegated to the right things. We're going to be using a portion of it for, I forgot what it is now, about $4,000. Oh, for the to get straightened out on the local historic district. We voted on that Tuesday night.
Oh, okay.
To hire someone to do the final paperwork that you're going to present to the state, which is enormous.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
Shocking.
But that's what the state requires. So
Right,
we
'cause I remember-
hired
I
a guy
remember
to
years
do
ago at
that.
One of the town meetings, I remember a long-term planning board member got up and mentioned something about that that the developer would have to give something to the Parks and Recreations Department or something. And maybe it was relative to open space, but it was years ago. I can't remember the whole thing.
Well, I know that we require, when we do the subdivision plans, that's when you work that out.
Oh, okay.
And there's no new subdivisions right now.
Right.
What's there is existing and finishing up.
Right. Right.
There is one new one planned on the end of Spring Street, but we don't know if that's gonna go through or not. That's a pretty tough area.
Right.
And,
Right.
That's the only one I can think. Oh, and then there's the over 55 that
Off of Church?
we're looking at.
Right.
The one off of Church.
Up
That
at
just
Church.
came in. You would tell me when you brought up about getting appointed to the commission there, so I just thought of that. But, all right, hey, you guys stay safe and stay well, and we'll keep
All
our
right.
fingers crossed on the roads, Rusty.
Great to hear from you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Well, last night we approved the Main Street project, which is the repair, automotive repair shop and car wash.
That'd be awesome.
I know, you won't have to go find a heavy car wash
I know.
anymore.
Be awesome.
It'd be great. I can't wait for them to get in there.
Today, wait a minute. I've seen a car wash once that, well, a lot of times, that has country music playing as the car's being washed. Would that be the same?
No, that's a hand wash.
Oh, okay.
And that's not this time of year.
No. You're not using a hose right now.
No.
That would be a
But,
bad idea.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice to get that place in there because it looks
Oh, yeah, it's
horrible
awful.
now. And the forest will be gone.
Well, that was the stuff that was all contaminated that nothing
Yeah.
would grow in.
Right. Yeah, I
everything.
know, nothing would grow there.
Yeah.
It's a forest.
Yeah.
I said that Tuesday night. I said, you got a lot of trees to cut.
There was a that was when the addition was put on
AMD,
AMD,
which is now
which
Cormark.
is now Cormark, right?
Yeah.
And they made this mountain
Yep.
of
I believe it's 60% of it will be used in the area.
so there was this huge thing
Yeah.
of
You know where Cormark is?
Yeah.
okay, there's a big mountain.
You see
of-
the big
of-
mountain with all the trees on it?
Behind or?
No, like to the left of it. If you're looking at the building face on,
Yeah.
to the left, there's a mountain of, and there was an
Man-made
individual.
mountain or something? Or
Yeah, it was when they built the addition to the warehouse. They had to, excavate a lot of material.
Yeah.
And they piled it up there.
Really? That's
And then it came to be that it was contaminated and nothing would grow there. But now there's a forest on it. And they actually took some of that when Pope Paris did an addition, and they put it along the front. If you go down heading out toward Walmart, you see all those trees, and there's a little banking there.
Uh-huh.
That's what that stuff
That's
is.
all that terrible contaminated
Yeah.
soil. Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
growing, those trees are growing better than the trees in the streetscape program downtown.
Someone who remained blameless
yeah.
was burst into this building and to the show once.
At another building.
Another building, but during the show. Oh yeah. Fought tooth and nail not to have the firehouse put there because that was contaminated.
Yep.
I was there when they tested the soil. I was with them when they took the tests and they tested it. And it was all inert and everything's growing beautifully.
Yeah.
It was just another excuse not
That
to build
is
the firehouse,
that is a high carbon material.
which is great for growing.
What do you think everything's based in? We're based in carbon. Everything living is got a carbon base. That stuff, you could, if you put that on your lawn you'd have the most beautiful lawn in town. Believe me. That stuff is phenomenal. It's fly ash. It's from it's charcoal trees that were turned into charcoal and used in the furnace in the White Machine Works.
Could you not mention fly ash to me, please?
Yeah.
One of my worst experiences.
What was that?
The land next to your brother.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
had-
all fly ash.
When I was a selectman, I was also a soccer coach in the soccer association. So I talked to, at the time, we had a very good relationship with the people that owned the mill.
Yep.
And there was two parcels of land. I said, look, what are you going to do with it? He said, nothing. I said, why? What do you want? I said, I want to lease it and put two soccer fields in there. He said, I'll give it to you. Not a problem. Go do whatever you want to do. We'll work the paperwork out later. Just go do it. So all of the people in the soccer association, and they got collections from the townspeople who were wonderful, and we had a guy come in and cut all the trees down. And at the time, the colonel who was at the armory was a great guy.
Colonel Shields, I believe his
Yep,
name was.
yep. And he said, I got you, Russ. We'll do a community program. I'll send 2 D8 bulldozers over there. We'll knock all the trees, stumps to the one side, and you get them pulled away. We had that set up. Everything was great. He put those 2 D8s in there, and they sunk into fly ash. He had to get a tank retriever to get him out.
It's
He goes,
all right.
I'm not going over there anymore.
Now, see, Russ is a newcomer to town.
40 years.
He didn't
40
know
years.
that when the White Machine Works was in business,
Yeah.
they had a pipe that ran under the road from their heating plant. And it came up and it shot up and then shot out.
It was a pond.
And it used to be a pond, an actual pond. And once a week, they would take and blow the fly ash through that pipe into the pond
Is that right?
till they
was like-
filled it up.
Quicksand.
Till
The
they,
DH went in and went,
yep.
yeah, yeah. That was like Seward's Folly. That was mine.
Yeah,
Wow.
I had a good idea.
yeah,
It just, nobody told me that it wouldn't work.
yeah.
So to this day, there's nothing there.
But you think about the environmental rules back then. They did whatever they
No,
wanted.
didn't care. That pipe went right through the water,
Yeah,
right through the Mumford to the other side.
yeah.
Is it still in that condition? You can't build anything there?
No, you can't. As soon as you get in it, it'll,
Really?
Because the water still comes down the hill
Yeah.
and flows into
yeah,
there.
it's soft. It's very soft. It was just one of those silly things that happened.
Now, yeah, I mean, they got away with, look at, the entire new village. You familiar with the new village?
Up in a border up there?
Yeah, yeah. All that area where the White Machine Works is, what's called the arcade, all around that pond, that's all fly ash. That pond was all part of a meadow that went all the way through there, right to the river. They filled it all in with fly ash. When they built the gas station, he had to have it hauled out. It cost him $80,000. They shipped the stuff out to Ohio or something.
It's a good place for it.
And because when he put the tanks in, they told me he couldn't have that stuff around. He had to actually put another a barrier around the tanks.
What exactly is fly ash?
Fly ash is what's left over when they burn charcoal.
Well, they had foundries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There
yeah,
was
yeah.
that whole section of the
Just
the
throw it
town
out
was
there?
was a foundry.
Yeah.
So you had to keep that hot. So they kept more charcoal, more charcoal, more charcoal, and
Heat up
and they
the
had to
metal.
put it somewhere because they used to stamp the metal.
Wow.
Somebody told me once that when matter of fact I still see them all the time, that when they worked at White and Machine Works, at the end of the day in their lunchbox they took lead home and they kneaded the lead with their hands while they listened to the radio to get it soft to use it the next day.
that's possible.
Imagine telling somebody, "Go ahead, take the lead home tonight."
Hey, look, the Romans used to drink lead
Yeah,
because it tasted sweet.
yeah. Imagine that.
And mercury, they used to.
Mercury, yeah.
Mercury, yeah.
Wow.
But look, I'm not that old, but I remember as a teenager driving out to Lexington to go to the pewter pot.
Uh-huh.
And what is pewter? But lead.
Lead, huh?
And their coffee was made in a pewter pot. That was the name of the restaurant, the pewter pot.
That explains a lot.
It was good coffee.
Real good, huh?
Yeah,
Sweet.
really, yeah.
Oh, that's too funny.
See, so, I mean, we learn things as we go along. Yeah, so
Well, back in the 50s,
yeah,
60s, what did they give you in the mall? 3 packs of cigarettes.
yeah,
They had a 3-pack. So, like, if you were Tarryton and they wanted you to try Tarryton cigarettes, they gave 3 packs of cigarettes out at the mall so you could try them. Imagine to do that today.
With 3 cigarettes in it.
3 cigarettes,
Yeah.
just so you get started on them, just to try them because they tasted better.
right.
It worked.
Oh, yeah, it did. It did. I never had one.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of good stuff that was given out free like that
Yep.
that you wouldn't see today.
No.
If you watch some of the Jack Benny shows, have you ever seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seen the Lucky Strike commercials?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
Yeah.
LSMFT.
means other things too.
Very different times.
Well, my mother was a Tarryton smoker. What was the Tarryton thing?
I'd rather fight than
Light
switch.
That's right. How
Back-
sick were we? I used to buy my mother a carton of cigarettes for her birthday because she had everything else. So what'd you bought her? Imagine that. How sick that is.
They had a
what they like.
promotion where they were
You
giving
couldn't
out.
afford that today.
They gave out
Yeah.
sweatshirts and T-shirts that said, "I'd rather fight than switch."
I still have from a friend of ours lighters from Camel that were all the drivers from the NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, they gave out all sorts
You
of
know,
stuff.
it used to, well,
Remember
you
the
had
Marlboro
the
stuff?
Winston Cup.
That's right. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's Winston.
Yeah, it was the Winston Cup.
That's it.
And you had Joe Camel, which was, I got some of that stuff. I got collected it.
And now Joe Campbell is on Geico commercials.
Yeah.
Hump day.
Yeah, hump day.
Hump day.
That's what today is. Today is hump day.
That's right. Today is hump day.
But not for the DPW, because they didn't have to work Monday.
No.
It's not hump day for the town.
Oh God.
You know, that was always talked about too. Okay, Monday is the long day, right, for the
Right.
town hall.
Right.
Most of the holidays come on Mondays.
And then they're off on Friday at 5.
And they're off at Friday,
noon.
early on Friday.
Eh?
How come you don't make up for the Monday you're on?
Yeah.
You were selectman when they did that.
I did not vote for it. I did not like that. I did not like I voted for it, but I did not like the 24-hour rule.
Yeah.
I did not like that at all with the fire department. I think it's a bad idea. And the only reason I think it's a bad idea is you have 24-hour coverage, which is fine.
Yeah.
But every one of those guys works 124, is off for 2 or 3 days, and works another 24. Do you think he rests in between? No, he goes to another town and works. So if you still need them, you can't get them. Because technically, they're called firefighters in between.
Right.
So, but you can't get them because they're not in town.
Well, that's always a problem with call firefighters now, because years ago when they started the program, most of the firefighters worked in the shop.
Right.
And the shop would let them leave the job if there
Yep.
was a fire. But you don't have that anymore. But
Tell you what, though, I don't care what you say. I may have my angst towards that. They still have the best response time in,
Oh, yes.
in central Massachusetts.
no, they do a great job.
Unbelievable.
They do.
Northbridge?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Time in, time out.
Wow.
I don't know if you know that.
I
They
didn't know
time
that.
in, they time out.
I didn't know that.
Call comes in, it's timed.
Yeah.
They leave the station, it's timed. Arrival at the scene, timed.
Yep.
Leave the scene, timed.
Everything's logged.
Everything's logged in. It's all in a time clock.
Wow. So they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, they're very good.
Yes.
Very good at what they do.
Got to get them a new fire station there.
No lie there.
Oh. And we're going to have a car wash where we could have had a fire station.
That's not. There you go. Go ahead, keep bringing stuff up. Yep.
Yeah.
So we
That
upped it
goes
for a
way
car
back.
wash.
That goes,
We upped it for a car wash instead of a fire station.
Yep.
well, that could go way back. And, you know, and the guy was going to donate the land, but they upset him, and now the owner says, well, screw you. Now he sold the land.
Yep.
And the floodplain has changed, too. That's why some of that stuff's going to be spread out. It's no longer under conservation.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, was it USG, USG, whatever,
Okay.
US Geological,
Yep.
they came in and redid the floodplain,
Oh, wow.
which I agree with, because I'd never seen the flood there.
I've never seen water even close to there.
Right, so
It goes
finally,
downstream pretty quick.
right, so somebody finally realized, I said, you know, if it flooded there, the town hall's gonna be underwater.
Yeah, we'd have a lot of problems there.
Yeah, so,
Well, that water's been flowing over that dam for a
and
while.
so would the DPW be underwater.
Yes.
So, if the water got that high, we're really in trouble.
A lot of trouble.
But it may be high tomorrow, hey, who knows?
You know what I didn't know? And I know we'll have a minute or two. I didn't know it was legal to burn Christmas trees. I thought you couldn't burn them anymore. I thought you had to chip them.
Yeah, I don't know. I know you can't, you only burn brush. And brush burning started last weekend, a weekend before, something
Because
like
when I
that.
took the Christmas trees to the dump, they were burning them.
Oh, they were.
And I was shocked.
The town was.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I was shocked.
well,
Because I thought they chipped
we
them.
gotta go.
Okay.
Hey, tomorrow night I got Eric from Blackstone Valley Rehab. Tune in, you'll be surprised what he does down there at the Linwood Mill. See you next week on Town Talk.